Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us again this week. It is Monday, November 4th, and we are really getting into fall. Hope you're all enjoying the weather wherever you are in the world or whatever time zone you happen to be in. Welcome to this week's edition of Chatting with Agnes and Cecilia. Our topic today is the importance of professional certification for 501c staff. But before we dive into this week's topic, I wanted to share a couple things with you. First of all, my usual co-host and colleague Agnes Amos-Coleman has taken leave for the next month, so she will be back December 2nd, sharing her knowledge and wisdom. And I'm very fortunate to have my friend and colleague Scott Morris joining me as my co-host. He's going to be filling in for Agnes for the next month. You may recall he was here last week talking about career transitions with me. So Scott is a member of our consultants network at Rogue Tulips, LLC. And Scott, would you like to say something to our audience?
Yes, it's great to be here again, and I appreciate the chance to talk with the audience out there about another topic this week. And let's forge ahead.
Great. All right. Well, as you know, if you're a regular audience member, we are sponsored by Rogue Tulips LLC, which provides 501c consulting services and association management services to 501c organizations. You can learn more about us at roguetulips.com and learn more about the other people on our network. We are also a supporter of the 501c League, which is a virtual membership organization for everyone in the 501c community and the people who love them. You can check out more about the League at the 501cleague.net. The League's also currently offering an ethics course. We have two courses, one in dates, one in November and one in December. You can find those at the website if you want to pick up a CAE credit or pick up your ethics credit for your 2020 renewal. So I am Cecilia Supp. I am the principal and founder of Rogue Tulips and one of our usual hosts. And I'm really pleased to be discussing the topic of the importance of professional certification for 501c staff, because as you see today, instead of my usual Rogue Tulips pin, I'm wearing my CAE pin. I just got my CAE in 2015 after being in the profession for, well over 20 years. And I thought it was a great experience. Scott got his CAE right before I did, because I got mine in May of 2015 and Scott got his in December 2014. So Scott, what motivated you to get your CAE after being in the profession for several years?
Well, one of the associations that I was working for had a number of CAEs on staff, including the person whom I was reporting to. And they all said that having a CAE and preparing for the CAE has been a great way to learn about association management. And so I decided to, then and there, to prepare and study for the CAE, which involved getting 100 credit hours before I could even apply to take the CAE exam, which, as you said, I took in December of 2014, and then received my certification about 7 weeks later, toward the end of January 2015.
Boy, and isn't it the waiting that's the hardest part?
Well, for me, it's a funny story. The waiting wasn't so bad. I mean, 7 to 7 weeks. It was the last 2 days before I received my notification in the mail. I was in a study group, which I would recommend to anyone who is studying for and preparing for the CAE, because it is a great way to exchange ideas and learn from other people who are in the same type of situation that you are. I subsequently found out that the notices were first mailed to people with addresses in the District of Columbia, then the next day to people with addresses in Maryland, and the third and last day was to people with addresses in Virginia, such as me. So all of these congratulatory emails were flying around between fellow members of my study group, and I would go home at night saying, well, where's my notice? So,
you're not the first person I've heard tell that story.
right.
I took the Michigan Society of Association Executives course, which I highly recommend. And one of my friends, Sue Bowman, was my study buddy and also my emotional support buddy. We were holding each other up the last few weeks, waiting to get our notice. And I got my letter the day before she did because I'm in Maryland and Sue's in Virginia. So we were both, no, what's going on? Why hasn't she gotten her? So I've heard a lot of people say that. And so this is actually kind of morphing into a CAE prep experience topic too, which is okay. It's great. But I do kind of want to circle it back to the importance of it and why you should do it if you're a 501c staff person. So the year I took it was the first year that it was opened up to consultants to take the CAE exam. And it's something that I had been lobbying for as an individual for about 10 years. Because I had missed several of the announcements where they changed how long it had been since you'd been on staff and become a consultant. There had been a couple of times where, like, for example, it had to be within 5 years. Well, I didn't find out till I'd been out of a staff position for 6.5 years. And Greg Melia, who was the staff person overseeing the program at that time, said to me, well, you could always ask for an exception to take the CAE exam because you didn't know. And I said, no, not until all consultants can take the exam. I will not take a special exception. And so I just, kept lobbying for it because of the importance of it, because whether or not you are in a regular full-time staff position or a consultant to 501c organizations, the CAE is very important for a lot of reasons. First of all, it demonstrates your commitment to your professional development, and it makes you stand out in the marketplace because people see you're taking it seriously. Second of all, I think the fact that we have a certification for 501c management is really important because this is a true profession. It is not a hobby. It's not something you do part-time. Maybe you have a part-time position, but it's not a hobby. It's not something you do in your spare time. This is a real business management position. It is a subspecialty of business management. So there's that importance. Also, if you're like me and Scott, and maybe you've been in the business for a while before you actually get the CAE, it really helps you organize all the data and information and experience you've collected over however many years you've already been in the profession. Now, as Scott mentioned earlier, you have to be in a staff position or working with clients that are primarily 501c organizations for a minimum of 5 years before you can take the exam, and you have to have 100 CE hours. So whether you've been in the profession 5 years, 10 years, 25 years, or 30 years, it's really very beneficial process. So that was just a lot I said, Scott. I don't know if you have any reaction to any of those points I made.
Yes, I would also add to the reasons to take and hopefully become a CAE is that with our staff positions, we sometimes operate in silos. My background is in government affairs, and it's that particular area that I was paying attention to in my association. But studying for and preparing for the CAE exam taught me a lot about other aspects of what it takes to run an association, such as communications, such as meeting and event planning, such as finance, and such as IT. I think it's very important to expand your horizons when you're in a CAE, because all departments have to work together for the benefit of their association members.
Yes. Oh, and that's an excellent point, because I think that understanding how everything integrates is crucial for any organization to be successful, whether you're working in the for-profit or a nonprofit. But you're right. I think in the nonprofit area, the 501c area, we do tend to silo because we think I'm membership, I'm government relations, I'm marketing, I'm chapter relations. And really all those things are so connected. And I think it also, whether or not you want to be a chief staff executive long-term in your career, it shows you
Yeah.
what it takes to be one. It shows you how you have to think. And just trying to check our timer here. Sorry, folks, I got a little distracted. Thanks to iPhone for making me type in 6 numbers for a passcode. But I think understanding that, understanding the pressures and the decision-making process that your chief staff executive has to make makes you a better team member, because maybe you're going to think about the way you present your proposals differently, because you're going to say, well, in the overall scheme of things, how is this fitting in and supporting our mission and supporting our goal? So I'd also wanted to mention something. We have seen a trend the last few years of chief staff executives being hired from within the industry or profession that the association represents. And for whatever reason, the board makes this decision. Now, I just want to say, for all of you chief staff executives out there who maybe are coming from the industry or coming from the profession, don't look askance at getting certifications for your 501c organization staff. The CAE is very important. The certified meeting planner is also an important one, which is just as demanding and difficult to get as the CAE exam. So, or the CAE designation, I should say. So both take a lot of experience, both take a lot of knowledge and expertise, and both give you staff that are more aware and better educated about what it is they're doing and how they can best contribute to the teamwork. So Scott, have we missed any high points of the importance of having certification for 501c staff?
No, I don't think so. But again, I would recommend that if you've got the time and the inclination to try and study for and prepare for and take the CAE or the CMP exam, because I think it'll make you a better staff member, which will rebound to the benefit of your association and its membership. It's just it was just a real eye opener and a real great learning experience for me, and I think it really gave me a sense of how my association was operating.
Well, and I think that's great to always have that deeper understanding. But
Right.
it's also, so for people like Scott and myself and the other members of our Rogue Tulips network, we're dedicated to this. I have spent my entire career in this profession. It's very important to me. I've given it a lot. I've tried to give a lot investing into it. So what I mean by that is the CAE is also an investment in our future.
Right.
As a profession, not just as an individual, but supporting our profession, because we want to bring in quality people who get it, who think it's important to you, who are going to take it seriously. And so I strongly encourage everybody to mentor people who are studying for the CAE exam, because not only does it keep you sharp, you're helping people who are going to carry this forward into the future. You are also imparting your knowledge and experience to people, helping them understand how to study, helping them understand the point of the exam. But most importantly, it's a way for you to pay forward. That's an old term, or give back, or just share. I like to use the term share, but whatever term you like. Invest in the future of our profession. 501c management is a profession. It's an important profession, and it takes a lot of brains and talent, experience, and grit, dare I say, to get through it sometimes. So because we don't have necessarily the resources. So if you can spare some time to mentor one individual or a study group to help them get ready for the exam, I strongly encourage you to do that. I've been mentoring individuals and study groups since I got my CAE in 2015. So I've actually made some friends. I actually, some of those relationships turned into long-term, more professional mentoring relationships. So I'm currently mentoring 2 study groups who are getting ready for the December exam next month. So the first week of December 2019, I have 2 groups of people who my fingers are crossed for, because they're all really super smart, working very hard, and helping each other out. So, and Scott, you also proctor the exam?
Well, I can attest, Cecilia, to a lot of what you have just mentioned because I have mentored several CAE study groups as well in the area of government affairs and government relations, and it's been a great experience. And I'm hopeful that what I've taught them and what I've gone over with every member of that study group was helpful to them when they took the exam. And as you said, I've also proctored two CAE exams in May of this year and in May of 2018. And I'm maybe in touch with the CAE staff, the staff at the American Society of Association executives who are in charge of credentialing to see if they need any help with this year's December exam.
That's a great thing too. I don't proctor because I mentor, and because you cannot proctor if you've been mentoring someone.
Right, but
so
I haven't proctored. Yeah.
So just remember that, folks. If you're mentoring someone, you can't proctor. If you want to proctor, you got to take a break from it.
Right.
But in summary, because our time this week is up, in summary, Scott and I are huge supporters of the CAE. We encourage you to get it if you don't have it. If you do have it, we encourage you to keep it and also pass it on and invest not just in yourself, but in the future of our profession.
Right. I would also add that once you obtain the CAE, you have to be recertified with 40 credits every 3 years. So when I first got my CAE, obtained my CAE in January of 2015, I had to recertify by December 31st, 2018, and I was able to do that by obtaining 40 credit hours within those 3 years.
And that's an important thing too. You have to maintain your certification.
Right.
You can't just get it once. That's a certificate program. That's another topic. So thanks for reminding us of that, Scott. So get it, keep it, because as we all say as our mantra, I never want to take that exam again.
You better believe it.
But it's worthwhile. One last call to my fellow chief staff executives out there. Please support your staff if they want to get a certification, whether it's the CAE or the CMP or another certification, because it's an investment in your staff and your organization. So that's all the time we have this week. I want to thank Scott for filling in for Agnes for the next month, and we'll have some more interesting topics for you over the next few weeks. And as Agnes and I always like to say, take 15 minutes and talk with somebody because you might learn something. Right. So that's all for this week. Thanks, everybody. Bye.